Welcome to the Sales Dojo podcast. The podcasts are here to help you address the real issues salespeople face every single day.
Happy New Year. You can respond if you like.
Happy New Year.
There you go.
That sounded a bit too much, that, Susie.
I was trying to queue up my prompts, as in my... we've forgotten what to do. It's a podcast. We've got to talk, haven't we? Oh, shoot. Okay. I was queuing up the posts we're going to talk about, so I've got them on my screen as well as you sharing them, Leon. I was just about to call you Dylan because that's the name of the first post. So I'm going to shut up now because I'm already fluffing this first podcast of the year.
Did you just say shoot?
I did.
Are you giving up swearing for New Year?
No, I've just been around children for a lot of Christmas holidays, and so I've had to watch my language.
We should probably take that as a rule for the podcast in case children are listening.
Yes, I'm not too sure which children are interested in sales, but yeah.
Future entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Welcome, future entrepreneurs. It's great to have you listening. Now
Future
go to bed.
solopreneurs.
Well, I'm sure there's probably a term for it now because you get mumpreneur, solopreneur. Can you not have kidpreneur?
Why not?
Yeah. You could start posting about it, Chris, and invent that turn of phrase.
Sounds a bit poncy though, doesn't it? I'm not going to do that.
It does. Should we do some posts? Would that be easier?
Probably.
Let's.
Cool. So the first one is one that you found, Chris, and it's from Dylan Rich.
Yeah, I've been lying on my couch eating Quality Street, reading LinkedIn for a couple of weeks. So Dylan, if you're listening, hello mate, hope you had a nice Christmas. This has got numbers in it and lists. I love all these things. So Dylan says 6 things sales reps shouldn't do. So don't do this. Obsess over your pitch in your head. Read every sales book on Amazon. Attend networking events with no follow-up plan. Reorganize your CRM for the 3rd time this month. Watch more than 5 YouTube videos about cold calling and wait for the perfect moment to ask for the sale. So before we go on to his do's, what do we think about his don'ts list? Susie, anything on there that you disagree with?
I heavily agree with the networking comment, but that's not the question you asked me about. Don't watch more than 5 YouTube videos about cold calling. Ooh, interesting one. I suppose, I guess what he's saying by that is don't go down the rabbit hole of watching so many YouTube videos or listening to lots of podcasts or watching how-to videos that you end up not doing it. That's how I'm going to interpret that one. So I'll agree with that. But I think it's great if you're accessing information, help on YouTube as to how to do stuff and you're being inspired to do it and you're going to give it a go. I think it's great to go off and get some input. So that's the only one I put a question mark by.
He could, let's not forget, watch the Sales Dojo podcast on YouTube now as well.
You could, yeah. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button and go onto YouTube and watch the Sales Dojo.
Yeah, so pick 4 other YouTube videos to watch apart from the Sales Dojo, I guess is our message from this one. I completely disagree with his first one, which is obsess over your pitch in your head.
Explain more.
I think you should completely obsess over your pitch on every day and every time that you pitch it. You should be thinking, you shouldn't pitch at people for the start off, but you should absolutely be obsessing over how you say stuff and the words that you use. Now, he does, is the second bit, is he recording them things next to the second ones? Possibly. But yeah, no, I think you should always be thinking about how it sounds and how you can improve it and get feedback on it. I think you should be obsessed with how you say what you say and when you say it.
We need a bit of context, really, don't we? Because I would say the flip from that is if you obsess over it in your head and you turn up, you're going to shut your ears off and you're just going to say what you've obsessed over in your head, regardless of what they say to you. And that's where you sound scripted and robotic. So I'm right with you in what you're saying, Leon, but without context. I'm just being argy-bargy with you.
You are. Have you got a New Year's resolution to just pick a fight on these podcasts every time, yeah?
Just going to be a bit of a biff every time as well. So not really a resolution, just carry on like last year, really. Let's jump into the things that you should do. Record your calls and listen back weekly. Practice your opener out loud 10 times before your first call. Follow up within 5 minutes of every meeting request. We'll circle back. Sorry, we'll come back to that one because I'm not sure what he means. Track your numbers daily in a simple spreadsheet. Make calls before checking emails and ask for the close with confidence, not an apology. And he further scrolls down, say, implementation is far more important than information. So what do we think of his list of things you should do? If there's people that are back in the office, they've got big, fat chocolate bellies on them from Christmas, and they're thinking, what should I do to make some sales? What do we think of his do list? It's Matheson.
I love the to-do list. I particularly love number 1, but that shouldn't surprise anybody. Record your calls and listen back weekly. Something we encourage a lot of the teams to do that we are working with at the moment, isn't it, Chris? Is record a call, have a listen back, and give yourself some feedback. Even if you haven't got a mentor or a manager or a coach or a trainer helping you, you can pick up on a lot of the things that you do well and the things that you can improve yourself. Just a little tip from me, if you have got a system that cannot be recorded due to whatever restrictions, there is nothing stopping you recording just your part of the conversation using a voice memo on your mobile phone. So there is no reason why you cannot record at least your part of the phone call and give yourself some positive and some positive feedback and some improvements at the same time. So that's the one I'm going to pick. I love that one, Dylan. How about you, Leon? What do you like on this list?
Yeah, again, it's a context thing, but follow up within 5 minutes of every meeting request. I'm not sure what the meeting request, where it comes from. I'm a little bit worried about following up within 5 minutes of anything. Like it smells a little bit of commission breath when you start doing stuff like that. I think it should be, follow up absolutely within 5 minutes. If that within that 5 minutes, if that's when you should be making a call, it kind of goes against what he's been saying about implementation over information. So yeah, I guess it needs some context. Make calls before checking email, absolutely. Like a lot of this stuff is about trying to compartmentalize what you do and making sure you do things at the right time. Take 10 seconds to set up a little simple email autoresponder which says, I'm on this, I'll get back to you later. And then they've had a message back and you can then batch process all of that stuff rather than doing it in between calling or when you should be doing it. Ask for the close with confidence. Sounds a bit weird for me, to be honest with you. What do you mean, ask for the close? What ask? Do you mind if I close you on this call right now? Would that be okay, sir? Look, ask for the business, I guess, and ask for it with confidence, absolutely, and not an apology, 100%. But yeah, I'm probably 90% on what he's saying there.
Fair one. I like practice your opener out loud. This is really important that you do it out loud. Let's go back to what's his face from a few years back, Leon. Never let the first time play it.
You sound like me ma there. Let's go back to what's his face from the other thing, yo.
Dominic Colenso.
Yes.
Hollywood actor. Never let the first time you say it be the first time you've said it. Is super important. I appreciate if you're listening to this podcast. It clearly sounds like we've never said any of these words before in our life. Just before Christmas, Susie, going back to your point about recording calls, coaching a lad, really nice lad. You know, when you just get to coach somebody and you just give them all the time in the world for this guy. And they had no way of recording his calls because he was making his calls on his mobile. There was no phone system. There was no VoIP. There was nothing going on. He was on his own in an office. So he set a Zoom meeting up and he just sat in front of his own Zoom meeting on record, phoned people, and then watched his own Zoom meeting back. And he said he got so much, not just from hearing it, but he could see all his facial expressions. And he said he stood up and sat down about 15 times in one call and how that must all be going down the phone and all that. He got so much out of it. What a simple thing to do. So if you're starting your new year off right and you're not reviewing yourself yet, try that. Stick a Zoom meeting on in front, record yourself, make a cup of tea, go and watch it back, have a bit of a cringe, take some notes. You'll smash it through this year. So quite like that, Ryan. Good list.
Certainly was. We love a list, and we love lists. So let's do another list, Chris.
Oh,
This
love
one's from
this.
Mike Gallardo.
Gallardo. Mike, it's an on-running joke. Don't worry about it. It's not you. It's based on Cortados. Mike, if you're listening, Mike at Deal, how you doing, pal? Happy New Year to you. Mike says my best AEs crush discovery questions, which I'm guessing is a positive. Steal 12 of the best ones. Love posts like this. This is what real people are doing. Have it. Here you go. So, question number 1, starting a discovery call by focusing on their priorities. Hey, Jill, let's start with what brought you to your company today. What are you looking to accomplish specifically? Now, you've got to start your meetings this way somehow, haven't you? Makes you go into discovery, not pitch mode first. Question 2, in fact, to save time, because there's loads of questions, I'm just going to read the questions, okay? Hey, Jill, a lot of founders I speak with have some challenges when it comes to X. Can you put me in your shoes and walk me through your process step by step? When you need to do X, what happens? So I like this because it's really putting you into their world again. Question 3, hey, Jill, typically founders I speak with have the following priorities. Is that the same for you, or is something else more important at the moment? Good question. Number 4, hey, Jill, I'm saying that. Where's that come from? That's what's his name off Ready, Steady, Cook, isn't it? It's a famous quote with Hey, Jill. I wonder if that's why he's used it. Hey, Jill, looks like we're in a great position to help with X. Based on that, do you mind if I make a recommendation for next steps? So maybe that's what Ryan was saying about a confident ask for a close. Jill, really stood out to me when you said X. Can you share more about that? Do you have a specific example? Great chunking down question. I'm going to read one more, then we'll take a pause. Jill, thank you so much for sharing. Here's what I'm hearing so far. Did I get everything correct? It's like he's been on one of our courses, Susie, with a lovely little summary question there. So I'll take a little pause there. I've got no gripes with these so far. Leon, what do you think of some of these questions? I know they might not be relevant for your world, but
yeah, no, look, I think we've done and discussed similar things when we've done stuff with SIA and stuff like that. A lot of this stuff is clearly doing the rounds, so to speak. I think the only thing I would say, and these are great, is make sure that you change any wording of anything into words that you feel comfortable with. There was something before which like I just couldn't say. I couldn't use them words. What are you looking to accomplish specifically? I just wouldn't say that. I would probably say something more along the lines of what makes this a good call for you? What'll make you happy if in 25 minutes we finish the call and you've got what you want out of it? So I think, look, all of this stuff is really good, but make sure you take some stuff that you like and change it into words and phrases and idiosyncrasies that you'd be really comfortable with using yourself. Don't ever use someone else's words to speak a sentence.
Yeah, it's a great point. I know it gets used far too much online, doesn't it? Authenticity. It's almost in the value bucket, sadly. But if you don't sound authentic when you say these things, people are just going to sniff around, aren't they? Susie?
Yeah, definitely. Authenticity is super important. Just like me not being able to find my unmute button after 2 weeks off there. Yeah, really agree with what you've said there, Leon, about like you need to make it your own. The theme of all of these questions is that you're getting them to talk or you're getting them to share with you their viewpoint and something. So these are why these questions work really well. I had my first cold call today, 5th of January, and I've had my first cold call. So well done to the person who called me. I'm not going to mention your name because it was an awful cold call, but you made a call on the 5th of January. So well done to you. You know who you were. And it was scripted beyond belief. It was the yes path that they'd obviously been taught to do. So it was like, Susie, would you 110% return on investment? I mean, that's great, isn't it? Right. So they're taking you down that like yes path of you agreeing and going yes and yes. And then at some point they want you to agree to invest lots of money in their new whatever it was. Unfortunately, and this is genuine, I did not hang up. We lost connection. So unfortunately, I couldn't carry on the conversation. Very sad about that. But yeah, so these are really good questions because you're getting their opinion, you're getting them to share with you, telling you about priorities. So I really think this is a great list, and we should be doing more and more and more of this when we're doing our discovery. So yeah, happy so far with the first 6 you shared, Chris.
Okay. Yeah, first cold call as well. You know what? It's a bit like jogging, isn't it? They might not be going fast or very good, but they were doing far more than the person sat on the couch. So every
Absolutely.
birthday back has made a cold call. So let's rush through these. I'm going to get rid of the hey Jill. We don't need. I'm guessing you don't say hey Jill with every question. That's not the point of the post. Question 7. What stood out to you the most about what we just walked through? Love this question when it comes to demos and presentations. You're getting them bought in, you're getting them feeling it and seeing it from their side. Who else on your team would benefit from this and this? Yeah, stakeholder finding. What was running through your mind as I was showing you that? It's another question, Leon, I'm with you. I wouldn't say that. I'd feel a bit odd saying that, but find a variation of it. Getting approval to connect on Slack is something that I very rarely do because I'm on Slack, but I don't use it a lot. I found it really helpful to collect with my clients on Slack. That way we can both communicate easily and get answers quickly when we need them. Would you be open to that? The bit I like about the structure of the question is it's a 50-50 split. It helps me with this and it helps you with that. It's not just because you. Curious, what steps would need to be taken on your side to make a confident yes or no decision with something like this? I quite like that as a what's your process moving forward. So yeah, quite with that one. And then lastly, curious. I don't feel right starting questions with curious. I know it's really just being curious, just out of curiosity, etc. Doesn't sit well with me. I'm going to ask you for your opinions on that in a minute. Last question here is, if we can align on pricing, would name company be the vendor of your choice? And who would you recommend? And who you recommend? Is there anything you see at this point as a reason to potentially not move forward? You're asking for the objection, aren't you? So back to Leon's advice. We're going to share this in the post. You can find this everywhere. If you're watching us on YouTube or TikTok, you might well see these on the screen. These questions are not pitching. They're all about finding their world and you're giving them a way to get out. What's your usual process to get to a yes or a no decision on this? Being really open to any answer. And this is one of the challenges I find when people are doing discovery. They're asking questions because they want a specific answer. It's not the reason to ask a question. If you ask a question, you've got to be open to any answer that they give, which is why, is this a good time? It's a terrible question because you don't really want the answer that they're going to give you. So yeah, I like those. Don't want to kick the arse out of this too much. Leon, Susie, anything that stands out from them before we move on?
The only other thing I would add is a lot of them feel a bit wordy. So like there's a few words in there that don't need to be there. I like to keep it a little bit punchy and a little bit shorter. And I'm with you as well. Like curious is a bit like saying, can I ask you a question? Might as well just ask the bloody question. Like, and curious is that a feeling? I don't know, but like, do they care if you're curious or not? Do you want to just not ask them the question instead of letting them know? I'm wondering if you do this. Well, just ask the question if they do it.
Yeah, it is a bit word salad, isn't it? But for some people, it just sounds really natural. Straight back to the word beautiful, Leon. Me and you don't use it because it just sounds weird coming out of our mouths.
Yes.
But if you want a better answer, ask a better question. Go and follow this chap online. We're going to share his post. Obviously, everybody knows his company. Well, not everybody. Some people. I don't know. Do you know Deal, Susie? If I just made a huge generalization there about his company.
Deal. Didn't Holly Allen work for Deal? Wasn't that?
I think she still does, yes.
There we go.
Hi, Holly. Happy New Year.
Hi, Holly. Yeah.
Oh, we can tag Holly in this now as well. Excellent.
There we go.
So that's it from the post I shared. Leon.
Yeah, I pulled a couple up. First one I picked completely for Susie.
Oh, aren't you kind?
Because I know she absolutely loves disc profile and often talks about it to everybody.
I thought it's because Susie's middle initial was P as well.
Well, there is that as well. But this one's from Mellissa P French. And she says that sales objection handling breaks down fastest When business owners and sales directors try to sell logic to an emotional buyer, sales objection handling for yellow disc personality is about energy and not evidence. Yellows buy when they feel inspired, excited, and connected to a future outcome. Their objections are not pushback. They are signals that momentum has dropped or belief has not fully landed. If you respond with detail too early, you lose them. If you reignite vision and simplify choice, you win them. The strongest yellow sales conversations focus on possibilities before process, stories before statistics, and momentum before mechanics. Handled well, yellows do more than buy. They advocate, promote, and open doors. Business is better in color. Read the full article, head to our website. So we will share the link to the website and stuff like that. I'll mention something on in a second, but it would be remiss of me not to ask Susie to explain a little about disc profile at this point, because she's the greatest disc profile person I've ever met. And then maybe just mention yellow and what that means, Susie.
I'm happy to do a little bit of explaining, and thank you. I'm certainly not the best disc person out there. There are lots of people who.
I never said that. I said that I've ever met. I've only ever met one with you. So just get on with it, girl.
So DISC is all about preferences, communication preferences predominantly. So how we communicate with people, how we want to be communicated to, and how we choose to communicate. And this is one facet of lots of ways that we communicate. And if you speak to Chris, he can tell you more about kind of like auditory and all of those kind of things as well. This is one area that you can look at. And what's meant by yellows is that they have got high extroversion or energy, and they have that high social, and they are less formal in their communication. That's what's being talked about when they're talking about yellows. There's four colors in total: red, green, yellow, blue. It's like I've been away for 2 weeks and I've forgotten everything about everything. The yellows will typically be labeled with being extroverted, social, loud, gregarious, make a decision on a whim, those kind of things, which is not necessarily untrue. But, and this is where the but comes in, is when we are talking about people's preferences, we need to be very, very careful, because I don't believe there's many people out there who are just yellow. They also have green, blue, and red in them as well, to varying degrees. And so it's very tricky to start saying, oh, a yellow person always needs this, because a yellow person, in inverted commas, is perfectly capable of bringing out their blue when they need to, which is the opposite, which is them being very detailed and taking time to think about things and wanting the facts. So I don't disagree with anything that you've said here, Mellissa, but it's kind of like only part of the picture that you've given us. This is not an instruction manual as to how to sell to somebody you've met because you believe that they're yellow. You need to be selling them to them as a whole person and considering everything. What I also want to just pick up on here is that sales objections, I don't really believe should be handled. I think sales objections need to be discovered and listened to and understood first before there can be any kind of reply or solution or moving forward. And that's kind of not here in this. If you're coming back to a friendly yellow person and going, well, I think, let's keep the energy high, and let me just explain to you the benefits of our system over another one, you're not actually listening to them. What you need to be doing is understanding them at that point and saying, hey, I've just picked up on this skepticism here, or this, you're a bit unsure about this particular feature. Would you mind telling me a little bit more about what's going on there in your head so I can try and understand it better? That's where you want to be going when someone's got an objection. You don't want to be coming back with the perfect answer as to why your system is better. It's all about listening and asking questions first. I feel like I've just merged tons and tons of stuff together there. So I hope it made sense. But if not, I reckon by handing over to Chris now, you're going to be able to cut through all of the waffle that I just handed you and clearly describe your thoughts, Chris.
I have no thoughts. I've had 2 weeks of eating chocolate on the couch. Nothing to add, Susie. That's it. There's one line in it with, could you scroll down a little bit? There we go. Stories before statistics. I can't remember. But basically, facts don't change people's minds. In fact, they make people dig into their position even further, even when they know that they're wrong. So the way we describe this in training is pick a conspiracy theory that you love. Flat earther. Any favorite conspiracy theories, Leon?
Chemtrails.
Chemtrails, yeah, all those planes, they're just chemtrailing us. Susie, any favorite conspiracy theories?
Michael Jackson, Princess Diana are on a tropical island somewhere enjoying life.
I really hope that's true. That'd be awesome. So let's say we're on Twitter and somebody's there going, in fact, MJ and Princess Diana are on a tropical island having a barbecue, having a great time. And we went back to them, as you said, Susie, with a fact. Like, here's some clear evidence, like a picture of their dead body. Like, they are not here. Even if it's absolutely irrefutable evidence, the opposite effect happens when we present facts because people only believe their own data. So if we went on Twitter now and showed this to somebody and said, you're wrong because of these facts, they'd actually reply with, well, you would say that, you've brainwashed as well, you sheeple, do your own research, blah, blah, blah. They dig further in. And I think what this lady's getting at here is, especially with somebody, and I agree totally, Susie, who's high yellow, but will have bits of everything else in. But if they're high yellow, you have to go and do that exploratory thing first. If you just present anybody a fact, they just go against it. Like, you will have had an argument with your partner at one point, Susie, and at some point in that argument realized you were wrong. Did you stand down and immediately apologize?
Oh, probably not.
No, you dig in. We all do. People don't change their mind when presented with different data. They only believe their own data. So stop trying to get past objections with facts about why you're bigger, more beautiful, better, more return on investment. People don't give a shit. They only believe their own ideas. Just be dead nosy.
100%. If you're looking for something to add to the conversation around disc profile, Surrounded by Idiots is a really good book with a light touch on disc profile related stuff. The only thing I would add to Susie's brilliant analysis of yellow on this post is, handled well, yellows do more than buy. They advocate, promote, and open doors. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So, you know, those are the kind of people who tell everyone about how good your stuff was. And they're the ones who, you know, almost sometimes to the detriment of their own success, will try and help you with some stuff and get your introductions. So if you can work out what yellow people look like, and if you can find some in your prospects or client base, be nice to them, do some good stuff, and watch how that really comes back to you tenfold. Sorry, not tenfold. I don't want to say that because there's no guarantee. There's not a 10x in it. Or watch how that comes back to you many times over.
Can we just point out, if somebody in there actually yellow, they may be jaundice and need medical attention.
Yes, so please do dial 111 from your phone and make sure you get looked after.
Yeah.
Don't mention it to them. They look a bit yellow though, because that could be offensive. Next one is the last post that we've got is from a doctor. And he does sales and business development, and his second name is Sale.
Is this a black account? Is this?
No, I think it's probably the coolest salesperson we've never met. I love this. Look, what he says is, one of the biggest missed opportunities I see in sales is also one of the simplest. People don't ask for referrals. Not because they can't, but because it feels awkward. They forget, or they think they'll do it later. Here's how I look at it. If you're 2 to 3 client meetings a day, 3 days a week, and you ask for 1-2 referrals in each meeting, that's a minimum of 5 to 10 warm introductions every week. Over the year, 250 new people you could reach out to, all through trust you've already built. There's lots of more information in this post, and it gives you some really good hints and tips and pointers on it. And I do agree to a certain degree on it. However, the only word of caution I would put in here is that referrals are wonderful when they're the right person. When they're not, they can waste a lot of your time, effort, and energy. And if you're not very good at feeding back to people who are giving you referrals on the kind of ones that you did want and don't want, or B, managing your time and thinking that these are all a silver bullet to success, and you spend loads of time, because what we tend to do sometimes, and I've seen this loads, is someone gets a referral, so they treat that as though it's going to be a definite opportunity to get business, and they kind of treat it a bit differently, so they don't qualify as hard because someone's referred them in, and they don't ask the right questions, and they set up a meeting straight away to go and see them because it's a warm introduction rather than doing a little bit of discovery at the start, that's a surefire way to actually waste a lot of time. So I'm with Dr. Sale. Dr. Sale, he should absolutely be betting drsale.com as his website. I'm with Stewart on this in terms of asking for referrals and doing it. We don't do it enough. I've talked loads about it and how referrals have been useful for me. I ask people who don't give me business for referrals as much as do. They don't all give you them. And that's the only other thing I would mention is that, you know, just asking for referrals doesn't necessarily get you them because loads of people do want to help, but they don't quite know how to do it properly. And when people don't know how to do something properly, they therefore don't do it. Susie, you were ex-BNI. We used to have chats back in the day about BNI, and we've definitely had conversations about crap referrals as well. So what's your thoughts and takes on this?
Well, first of all, I just, in that moment when you suggested it, Leon, I had a look, and both Dr. Sale, DR Sale, and drsale.spreadout.com are available as domain names to buy. So, Stewart, you need to get online, whichever domain provider you want, and get those websites bought because they would be amazing website names. Anyways, back on topic, referrals. So they say that referrals are the strongest way of getting business, right? That is what the experts in sales say. Now, I haven't got a quote, I haven't got a source, but it's well known that people say that the best way to get business is through referrals. The worst way to refer somebody is some of the ways that we just talked about there. And I think this is the important thing is if you are giving a referral, you need to make it helpful, right? If you are giving a referral, one of the things we learned in BNI, for example, is be active in it. Don't just give somebody the name and say, oh, call this person and say, tell them that Susie told you to call them. Like, actually be the person to do the introduction. That will really help with a referral. So that's just a little tip that I remember from BNI. Another thing is, if you are not utilizing referrals wherever possible, then you're missing out on a trick, right? So one of the things that we talk about a lot in training is where can you get referrals from? You can get referrals from people who didn't become your customers. You can get referrals from people who said, no, it's not for them, but you can ask them like has already been said, who could be a potential, or who could this be useful for? You can get referrals from happy customers. You can get referrals from unhappy customers sometimes as well, because they know the type of company that would benefit from this if they've gone down the wrong route, for example. So there's loads of ways to get referrals. I just think it's important that it's more than just giving a name over, because that's not very helpful. Chris, how often do you work on referrals?
Oh, I'm obsessed with referrals. I love it. I mean, in our industry as well, Susie, we sell a product that isn't tangible, doesn't come in a box. You can't smell it, hear it. You know, it's a concept, isn't it? And the sale is entirely built on trust. That, you know, you trust that we are the best solution for what you need. So if I can get in as a referral, which is a huge amount of our business, it's because that biggest challenge of trust, you've really stepped up that because you're getting a good referral in. We've used these people. They were really good. You should use them. Right. Well, there's the biggest hurdle overcome already. So I love referrals. I try and give referrals. And I think this was something we discussed once, Leon, and you're really good at this, Leon, as well, is if you give a referral, get out of the referral as quick as you can, or you end up in the whole sales process. And it should be very much, hey, so-and-so, you really need to speak to this person. I've CC'd them in. This is what they do. This is what they need. I'm going to leave you to it and bow out. Goodbye. Or you get trapped in that entire sales process as you're going along, make it and get out. And then without going full BNI, which I've never joined, I was a bit of a BNI whore. I've just been to every chapter in the country as a visitor, I think, over time. If you really want referrals, give referrals. I know givers gain is the old adage of BNI, but it's so true. You become in that kind of sphere then. If you're wondering why you don't get any referrals, how many have you given? Like, this is how it works. But yeah, great. Dr. Sale, we salute you there. Anybody listening from my old days of selling SEO and domain names and that, drsale.com, can't believe that's available. It's flashing. It's flashing. You need to buy that now, Dr. Sale. Somebody's looking at it. Come on. Bit of urgency there for you.
Good chat. Really enjoyed that. So just want to do a quick sum up. drsale.com talked about referrals, how to give them, how to get them, how to make them better, and the numbers that are available. If you're listening and you're not doing referrals, asking and stuff like that, just have a go. What have you got to lose? If you ask 50 people and none of them give you one, you're in the same position. You still got no referrals. You might as well give it a go. The second poster we talked about, Mellissa P French talked about yellow. If you want to learn some more about this profile, maybe check out Susie's comments and stuff on LinkedIn. She's really good on that kind of stuff. Or try Surrounded by Idiots, which is a really good light touch version of it. And there's another good one as well, which is the birds one, which I can never remember the name of, but which is really good, which does birds as this profile stuff. Mike Gallardo from Deal talked about 12 really good questions to ask in discovery. He's a sales director at Deal. He's got loads of people who are doing discovery. Check out the post, go and steal the stuff and rewrite them in your own words and language. And then the first one we talked about was Dylan Rich. What another great name for someone who works in sales, Dylan Rich. And he's got 6 things sales reps shouldn't do and 6 things sales reps should do. So check them out, find out some more. If you want to find out some more about the Sales Dojo, you know where we are. I'm going to ask a really quick favor. If you've learned anything from today, just go and share it with somebody else. Not only will it help it sink in with yourself, but it will also help someone else to close some more sales. Have a fabulous day.